Welcome everybody to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, Attention Coach Jeff Copper, and I'm here with Jay Carter. Jay, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jeff. Happy to be here.
Jay's an ADHD coach and works a lot with companies with regard to accommodations. And when I hear somebody talk about accommodations for ADHD, all of a sudden it sounds really expensive. And I think that belief is maybe a knee-jerk reaction, right? Because often accommodations almost are free, or I think like 75% of them are less than like a couple $100. Is that right?
That's right. It's interesting that there is kind of a fear factor associated with accommodations, and sometimes I try to help people sort of take it down to the level of just asking for help with something as opposed to thinking of it as an accommodation. But a lot of accommodations don't cost anything at all. At least half of them don't cost anything at all. So you can think of accommodations as being something like working in a quieter workplace, or maybe having some white noise to drown out some of the sounds around you. So there are a lot of accommodations that really don't cost anything at all. And accommodations in general, for those of us who need them, don't need to be something that we're afraid of, that we're worried about how our company will perceive it if we go in and we ask for that thing that we need to help us do our job.
And you know, the thing about it is, I know myself, as I don't make no bones about it, I have dyslexia and learning disability. Writing is not my thing, but a lot of times I have a dictation service called Copy Talk, and it's $60 a month, and I can dictate all I want for up to 4 minutes, and I like it. It's not like Dragon because it's a computer program. These are actually people that are listening to it, so it can be intuitive. I say, okay, bullet number 1, da-da-da-da, and okay, and number 2, intuitively they know that it's a bullet, whereas I have to train myself with Dragon. I'm saying that because at $60 a month, it's really not that expensive.
Correct.
I got to tell you, it really increases my productivity to the point where I'm actually a little bit more effective. And I work for myself, but if I work for somebody else, it's almost like this investment would actually, not only would I be able to perform, but I actually would be able to perform even more, because it's easier for me to talk and driving down the road. I can't tell you how much, even sometimes dictating summaries and stuff for the show kind of happens. And that's just a simple one, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Noise canceling headphones, earplugs. Even I actually worked with a person one time who light kind of bothered them, and actually put tape on the inside of their glasses to narrow their field of view. All these are just small things that are not that big deal. But I do think, we've talked about this before, sometimes finding those accommodations is a little bit of an iterative process.
That's right.
You want to talk to that?
That's exactly right, because you know that you have some sort of issue. So maybe it's concentration. I have issue concentrating at work. So the first thing I think about is, well, what's causing that? Is it visual distractions? Is it audible distractions? Do I have people talking out? Am I thinking about people overhearing my conversations? What is it exactly that's causing me trouble? And then I have to think through, what is it that I think would help me with that? And we don't know for sure until we try it. And most accommodations are easy to try, and if they don't work, try something else. So that iterative process really is very important.
I know there's another individual that I know whose company has an internet situation, and they don't want them going to Google for whatever reason, and this person got an accommodation for himself because he uses Google Calendar for reminders, and it's easier for him to load on because it works on his phone. And it was really something as simple as, I don't know, it's a VPN thing, I totally understand it for this particular one, and it really, other than the time setting up, was inexpensive, but it's very, very useful for him. Again, a very simple accommodation that's not necessarily over the top.
Absolutely. And another thing that I would encourage people to think about, some accommodations, or things that could be called accommodations, you might just want to go ahead and do for yourself. You might not have to wait for your company to provide them for you. Maybe something that's fairly inexpensive, even like Copy Talk, which is a really good tool, might be something that you want to provide for yourself even.
Which is another thing that just I want to touch base on is, when you can, it's probably best not to disclose. I say that because people can be very empathetic in one situations, but when their back is against the wall, it can be turned against you.
Right.
That's not to say you shouldn't necessarily do it, but if you can come up with an accommodation on your own, it's always a little bit easier if you just kind of go do it and implement and kind of move on.
That's true. On the cognitive type disabilities and accommodations for that, really you're looking to be accommodated for a situation, not necessarily for a diagnosis. So typically what I encourage people to do is disclose the situation, not the diagnosis. So I'm having trouble concentrating. There's a lot of people around here.
Yep.
Can we do something about that?
Yep. Well put. So, Jay, thank you so much for coming on. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think it really, if you're just really kind of creative, there's lots of solutions out there that are amazing. And if you're not a creative type person, find someone else to brainstorm. There's a lot of other ADD people who would love to help you kind of come up with some really wacky ideas that will really kind of work. So, with that, Jay, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
Take care.
Take care.